see the eyes of the demon until him come calling.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
This is my boomstick!
Swallow this.
Back again, another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. Of course, I'm Lance Velchek, and my other host, Mr. Arrow, huh? John Fallon, buddy.
How you doing, man? You good? You're looking healthy today.
That's that Florida sun, probably.
You've been moisturizing or
Every single day.
by the way, I heard you just came back from Malta for like some
Did.
classic world shit. How
I
was
did.
that?
Universal took us out to promote the there's a like extended Blu-ray release coming out soon. Dude, I gotta be honest, some of the nicest people I've ever met. Malta was gorgeous.
And if you're just a listener, well, you know, you're gonna miss out. A little scene with Lance. Sorry, it kills me. Being chased by a raptor. Look at his face. He's so into that shit. We gotta share that with you guys. So right now here, this is Lance being chased by a raptor. Enjoy.
Nothing like embarrassing me in the public eye, but it was a great time. It was a great time. It was really fun to shoot. I just, you're an actor. I can't look at myself on the screen. I can't look at myself on this screen. I'm like, oh God.
What are you drinking right now? Let's do that before we dive into a very sensitive topic.
Drinks. I get paid once a month, so it's like always the first of the month I'm living like a king, and then the rest, I'm kind of
Like a peasant.
yeah, exactly, like ramen noodles and cheese. But I have some vodka left over, and there's like some sweet like peach tea that we have in the fridge, just because it's hot and I like drinking that stuff sometimes. So I put vodka and vodka and sweet peach tea together. So the beachy drink. What about you?
I went to Walmart and found the cheapest wine I could buy, and this is what I came up with.
Liberty Creek.
Some shit like that. It's got the
That's
American
a
flag.
giant bottle.
Yeah, some shit like that. A couple liters, just a warm up for the real drinks later.
Hi, my friend. Cheers to you and everybody watching and or listening. We appreciate you as always.
Hello, my friend. Hey! Okay, this is going to be an interesting show. Before we get into Predator 2, let's address briefly Prey. Which at this moment stands as the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes Predator movie, higher than the first one.
Oh, don't give me. Okay, well,
And that's when you know that we're on the hype train, baby. It's a crock of shit.
okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start? What would make you feel better?
Yeah, go nuts. Go nuts.
Well, I'm not going to go nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal. I've never liked Rotten Tomatoes. I never have and never will. I mean, I understand the necessity of it, but I feel like we're in an era now where this shit happens all the time. Pardon my French. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a solid movie. I'm not saying it doesn't have the issues. I do have issues, but I hate the last 4 Predator movies.
You hate Predators?
I fucking hate Predators. I hate the Predator. The Predator was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I love Shane Black, but like they should take his pinky for that for sure. Okay, so here's the thing about Prey. Going smaller is better. I'm glad we're not having 30 predators and super predators and predator dogs and all that dumb bullshit. I like that it's essentially a survival story, but it does. There's a point where like I was like, okay, is there any good guy in this? Is there anybody besides his brother? Every dude,
every
was like,
male character
was an
other than
asshole.
the brother.
Yes, was like
He's a piece of shit. Yeah. That's it.
There is a time where like the French fur trappers come.
Yeah,
and I mean they were so over the top villainous. I was like, okay, guys, okay, they're not the Nazis. They're not the Nazis.
Mustache twirling. Yeah.
Amber Midthunder, I think, was good. It was solid. I think the Predator's design was good, even if they did clean it up way too much with CGI. I liked that it was basically kind of basic. I don't know. I think it's the Predators just got so messy and so over the top and so bloated. I like the idea that this one took its time. I mean, I think it's like 45 minutes before you actually see it. And I know people might hate that, but I'm like, good. I like that he fights animals first and builds his way up. I think
it's basically the Predator race first visit to Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying shit out. You know, a snake. There was something else. Fox. I think
Fox, or no, it was a wolf, a bear. I'm going to say this. I do think it's absolutely overhyped. I really do. But we're in that weird time now where everything is the best thing in the world, or holy hell, why can you like it? This is trash. There's no nuance or middle ground. I did say this in my review, and I've said here, let's cut the bullshit nonsense of it's the best since the original, or it's the best ever. Flaws aside, I like that it was small and intimate and just sort of, mano a mano. Whether we agree on how that was done, fine, but that's my opinion. What about yours? The John pause is never good.
Yeah, I'm not good at being diplomatic, so I'm gonna do my best.
I could tell.
Yeah,
I could tell.
No, it's actually really hard. Look, I did appreciate in terms of Prey the back to basics, because the franchise got away from everybody, like you said, like The Predator by Shane Black, for example, which I actually really like the first hour. I really like the first hour of that movie. Then it completely fucking falls apart. There was some good violence, dialogue was funny, but we're not doing a show about that thing, so I'm not gonna run with it. But there's too much. The mythology expanded too much.
Agreed.
Predators, got them on the predator game planet with different creatures and everything. Sometimes, when you go too far, you get lost. And I thought it was the smart move to bring it back to basics. It has the same spirit as the original, but without the intelligence of the original. So that was one of my complaints. Another one of my complaints is that the original, you have Dutch, you have, I don't remember all their names offhand, but, Carl Weathers, Jesse the Body Ventura, you have characters that you remember and that you root for, even though their characters are not fleshed out. It's not, I keep using Remains of the Day as my example. It ain't Remains of the Day. It's fucking Predator. It's fucking Rambo with an alien. That's what we're watching. But you remember them. You remember this guy, that guy, and you care about them. Sonny Landam, I think his name is, who played. It ain't no man. That guy, great fucking man. He was in Lockup. Great Lockup. A real hard ass in real life. I think he passed on, actually, so God rest his soul. In Prey, other than the lead girl and her brother,
nobody else. I agree. Nobody else.
Who the fuck are these people? I don't know. The Predator is whacking like fucking 15 French, stereotypical French, who spoke really bad French, by the way. That was awful French, by the way. Like, I speak French, and I could.
Was it? Okay, I say I don't know that stuff.
I didn't, and they didn't subtitle the French. I couldn't understand half of what the fuck they were talking about. Oh, lulu, shishi boo boo. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck's going on over here? And now, I watched the original Predator like a million years ago, and I could tell you scenes. The scene when Carl Weathers gets his arm blown off, in the slow motion, he has a machine gun. I'll always remember that scene. I watched Prey 5 days ago. One scene. Name me one scene that I remember. The CGI grizzly, which
ended up being kind of a fun part. I think it's ridiculous that he could bench a grizzly. I don't like that, but the fact that he did it and then it gets covered in blood, so you get to fucking see the. I didn't hate it. Clearly you did.
Oh no, actually, I know.
Where do you put it? Where do you put it on the scale?
Predator, Predator 2, and Predators more than Prey. So Prey would be fourth in my lineup. I liked it better than Shane Black's effort and the AVP movies. I'm not even. In there because especially 2, it's funny. You thought we're going all over the place right now, but you thought Paul Anderson's Alien versus Predator was weak, but then you watch Requiem and then you're like, you know what, Paul Anderson did all right.
He ain't beating the original. Let's just end it with that.
No.
McTiernan
and by the way, just before we fucking move to Predator 2, which is the nature, the raison d'être of this show, the design sucked. All right, dude, why are you changing the Predator design? The Predator is the Predator.
They did that in Predators, and it was stupid. But
but they still had the classic Predator in the house, played by Derek Mears, our good friend.
Okay, but the classic, sure. But I still listen. I don't like them changing the Predator design either, because it's like, well,
no, but it was too much of a change. It was too much of a change.
I mean, that's the world we live in now, man. I agree. If we
with the CGI mandibles and
which is funny because that a video clip right now, which I'm going to put in right here, where it shows it's all practical. They pulled a.
It looked VFX to me.
Well, no, they did because they pulled a thing 2011 and they went over it.
Oh, they enhanced VFX enhanced.
Predator 2 by Stephen Hopkins.
The man.
Let's start off real quick with a little bit of love because I absolutely love Stephen Hopkins. One of my favorite movies ever. I watched this so much as a kid. It got to me, Judgment Night. I've always had a soft spot for Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which I think, flaws aside, he knocked it out of the park.
Dude, he shot it in like record time, man.
Man, they gotta give him
CD unrated cut, guys.
And
Ghost in the
else?
Darkness.
Yeah,
Great fucking movie. And of course, Lost in Space, which is the movie that neutered his career. But for me, I saw the film. I remember enjoying it. Technically, it was sound. The acting was great. It just didn't make money. So Hopkins a fucking champ in my book. I think he's Australian.
I'm here for
We love you, Hopkins, bro.
Yeah, dude. Big Hopkins guys here. So Predator 2, I think, was one of those films that, man, just from the ground up, it had so much going against it. I mean, coming off of something as classic as Predator, not having McTiernan, not having Schwarzenegger, and I'm not going to say everything now because I want to get back and forth with you, but
no, take the whole show. Go ahead. I'll go jerk off in the back. Don't worry about it.
I don't. You could just wait. I won't be that much, you know. That seems like a lot going on. You pick a scene, hang out, get yourself relaxed. I love this movie, and I didn't realize it was divisive until maybe 5 years ago. I grew up on it. I thought everybody loved it. It blows my mind, but we'll get into that later. I think it is one of my favorite sequels out there. I think this is exactly how you do it without treading on the original, without redoing it per se. Changing locations, I mean, to the jungle, to the city. One of my favorite parts is like it has that sort of fake out in the beginning. Where it's like, and it goes through.
And then it's the city, yeah.
Yeah, it's just LA, yeah, and I think it's a cool time jump. It's the future. It's 1997. This came out in 1990. So they kind of like let you know that things are a little bit different.
Yeah,
life has gone to hell. There's a heat wave caused by climate change. Gangs are running the streets. It's just a cool idea. It's like we've lost control of a giant city in a giant state, and the Predator looks at this as like a hunting ground. I think going from Schwarzenegger to Danny Glover is a cool idea because we can't have another buff guy, because that's just going to be the Schwarzenegger. I know this is probably an argument you may have to fight off, but I thought it was smart taking the good guy who is Danny Glover, making him Riggs. Like he doesn't play much.
That's basically it.
He plays the hot-headed, like
doesn't play by the rules, all that shit. Yeah.
But this is played by Robert Davi, and he's just like,
put my ass on the line to get you here, and all I expect is a little cooperation.
I think this like walks that cool line of being still close enough to the '80s boom of like over-the-top action. I know it's 1990 technically, but it still has the remnants of that, and that's why I think.
Oh, definitely.
No other sequel will ever touch this because we're too far removed from that time of excess.
Right away, Predators 2 starts, the shootout in the streets, the cops versus the drug lords. And then, at some point, somebody fucking shoots like a grenade launcher or some shit. The car fucking blows the fuck up in slow motion, low angle.
Yeah.
And I watched Predator 2 a couple days ago again. And you look at it like, yeah, that's how it's done. It ain't no fucking Fast and Furious VFX cars, and no, that's a real fucking car being blown the fuck up. Thing of fucking beauty, shot in slow-mo, and the soundtrack, if I remember, there's kind of like a guitar lick or something. You don't see that shit anymore. So
old school action.
I totally agree with everything you said so far about Predator 2. I know we're going to disagree, but it really embraces what it is shamelessly. It doesn't give a fuck, and I love that about Predator 2. It's probably even gorier, I think, than the first one.
I think so too, actually.
Yeah. It kind of piles up the body count, and the Predator in part 2 is a younger Predator, is a bit more brash, a bit more daring. He's fucking whacking, everybody, man. Drug lord is that. Anytime there's action, he's there. Let's go. Let's fucking hunt, bitch. So I love that about the picture. Schwarzenegger was approached to be in the film, and I think it was exactly at the same time as Terminator 2 was gearing up. And he asked James Cameron, what do I do? You're giving me Terminator 2. They want me to do Predator 2. What do I do? And Cameron gave him the advice to go, pick one. And he picked one. And Terminator 2, as you know, was fucking mammoth. And then Patrick Swayze was approached to play the Harrigan role, which I personally would have loved. I thought that would have been perfect casting. But Swayze was just getting off Roadhouse, and he had injuries, so he didn't want to do it. Predator 2 is fucking so easy for me to talk about because I love it. As a whole, I love it. I love the pacing. Like, seriously, the last 40 minutes is a chase. It never stops. I love the score, which, Prey by Alan Silvestri, which Prey did not use. Dun, 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 dun. That shit, it's fucking booming the whole movie. I love that shit. I love the cast. You got your Bill Paxton, you got Maria
Conchinita Alonso.
Thank you. Who's like, a token babe from the 80s. Like she's
big Venezuelan. Yeah, a tough broad though. Yeah, I love her. Yeah.
I love her too. So, you're Bill Paxton, the name he just said.
Robert Davi's in it. Gary Busey.
Had that, the supporting cast was great.
Yeah.
Two things I don't like about Predator 2. One, you know what? I've been trying to pinpoint it. I always used to think it's because I see him as Murtaugh. Yeah, and I find him Murtaugh. Bumbling, like a bumbler, like he bumbles. Like even when with the gun, the way he moves, it's not cool. It's kind of bumbling. Danny Glover with his yellow shirt, the yellow shirt.
I love the yellow shirt. That's crazy.
I don't know. The yellow shirt ain't working for me, man. So I always had a hard time with Danny Glover as the lead of Predator 2, which is odd because I love Danny Glover. I love him in the Lethal Weapon movies.
Well, I don't think you're alone. I think that's a common complaint, to be honest.
Really?
I think so.
I thought I was alone.
No, I think it's because he's a middle-aged man fighting Predator,
They were going for is a more like everyday man.
Yes.
Where, in the original Predator, it's fucking mountains of muscles, But I don't think it should have been an everyday man. I think it should have been a tough motherfucker, man. No?
Okay, but hold on. Well, I would argue, though, he only beats a Predator because he got absolutely lucky. It wasn't out of skill. It was really just he had the disc.
For me, it did not make for an appealing leading man in an action film, or action sci-fi horror, or whatever you want to call it. If it was Swayze, if it was Michael
Swayze,
White,
yes,
White. If it was Michael Jai White, oh shit, are we Michael Jai White here?
I mean, he's fine, but like I'm taking Danny Glover over him. He's tougher, but I like Glover as an actor better. Glover I think has a little more depth in his delivery than Michael Jai White. I do. I'm sorry. I mean, I've seen Spawn.
Spawn, fuck Spawn, man. That's a million years ago, man.
I'm sorry, I saw Invaders.
Has done a bunch of shit since, man.
Yeah, he was great as not Kano. He was great as Jax in the Mortal Kombat things. I like him. He's a great actor, but I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say I think Danny Glover's a better actor. I'm not being rude. I just
but Predator 2 is not a fucking Remains of the Day.
But
it's about action, man.
But
it's about having a leading man that you could be behind, and fuck yeah, man, he's a badass.
I like the everyday guy.
Danny Glover's not a badass. There you go.
No. He's just a charming old guy. But here's the thing, though. I like that they went the opposite because I have the badass. So the problem is, if we had a badass in this, it would just be like, well, he's no Schwarzenegger, Which to be honest, I guess happened here anyway. But for me, I was like, I don't mind some like withered old angry cop who's like a little too old and sick of this shit. Like, like I said, I think it was funny that we took Murtaugh and made him Riggs. I was like, okay, fuck. This is something that we did that I think no other Predator after this has understood. Though we see him a bit more, he has new weapons, all of which I think are iconic. I mean, they were able to like slightly explore the mythology in a really cool way without giving out too much away. By the end of this movie, I know very little about the Predator. I don't, all I know is that he has toys, he hunts a lot, he's been to different planets, and that if we beat them respectfully, they're kind of cool about it. And I was like, okay, that's as much as I've ever wanted to know. I know there's comics and stuff and more lore. I don't want to know any of that stuff. I like that I'm still kind of confused.
Yeah,
and just know them. Yeah, I mean, even when they give him the gun at the end, my favorite thing is that it's not like a noble gesture.
Look at how he tossed it. He's thinking, motherfucker. If you think that's anything but a bitter toss, lob the remote to your girlfriend in the same manner. See how well that goes.
Throw money,
it's a rude throw.
It's hooker, Here you go. Thank you for the night.
It has that vibe, and I was like, even it being noble, it was still grumpy, and I was like, that's a cool little thing, man.
Yeah.
And that's it, and they go away, and I know nothing else.
Kind of like furthered the Predator code in Predator 2, where and it's one of my favorite bits from the movie, and they use it later on when he's in a tree, the Predator, and there's a little kid with a toy gun,
Oh, candy.
Want some candy?
Want some candy?
And he doesn't whack him. Okay, it's a fake gun. That's he's non-threat, not good to me, And then later on, he uses the recording.
It's creepy.
Candy?
It's like a haunting.
Shit, man. I love that shit, man.
Want some candy?
Um,
And the guy, let's talk about I love that there's a secret government agency that like is studying this, and it's run by Gary Busey on 10 the entire
who else
time.
would it be? What's his line? And we're gonna play it. You know? Oh no, he's on safari.
Lions, the tigers, the bears. Oh my.
See, he quotes Wizard of Oz. It's like it's a fucking alien. Yeah.
A fucking alien.
Actually, that was Busey's first movie after he had that motorcycle accident.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, he was great in it. And actually, just as a quick aside, I like that in The Predator, which is probably my least favorite Predator movies, AVP shit aside, The Predator, Shane Black's, they had his son, Jake Busey. That is his name.
Yeah, he's a good actor though. He's like he's an
Yeah, but
intensity.
I think he's related to the character from part 2. Right?
Yeah, they yes, he's his son in the movie, I believe.
Jake Busey.
From
You
Context.
didn't like the Batman and Robin shot in Alien versus Predator, the first
where
one?
they're running away. It's like that to me was the death of Predator. It is so late in this movie. They don't team up either. He throws him a gun because he's grumpy, and they start the ship with him in it. Being that like, motherfucker, good luck getting off. Better run quick. Vamonos. You know, he jumps out right at the time. Like they weren't even giving him time to leave. Like that's a Predator that I want.
That's pretty funny, actually. I never looked at it that way. Did you see Predator 2 in theaters?
No, I wish, man. 1990.
I saw it in theaters, bro.
I'm a little younger than you, man. I'm sorry. It was my. How about this? I rented the hell of it. I still think it's my favorite cover of the Predators.
You have to admit, the first time you saw it, I'm sure you guys too, when they showed the trophy room and you see the alien, skull, we all lost our shit. I lost my
amazing.
shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was
what?
amazing.
What?
Paused it.
The same fucking universe? Holy shit! The potential now they just established, and then we all saw what they did with it.
But again, that's one of those things that to me, especially now that we've lived through it, it's like I'd rather have that be something like I could think about. I mean, I not that it couldn't be done well, but at this point, there's so much baggage. I don't think it could be done well. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see super predators. I don't want to see super predator dogs. Just have some guy go to a planet and murder people viciously. That's
Just a quick aside. I actually urge you, my friend. Yes,
me.
Yeah, the guy with the pink shirt.
I wasn't sure if it was like the audience. I was like, okay.
No, not you guys. This guy. To rewatch Predators. Tours with the S.
I mean, I watched it like 5 years ago. That's good enough.
Watch it again.
I didn't change in 5 years. I promise you.
Listen to me, man. There's a lot of. It's not perfect. Like the second Lawrence Fishburne shows up and which incidentally was supposed to be Danny Glover's character.
I mean, it would have made more sense, but then he turns it on, which is lame.
Man, but it slows down the entire movie. But outside of that, watch it again, and it really shows a lot of respect to the original. It's more old school than you remember. And here's the funny little fucking trivia. The original Predator at first had one design, a weird ass fucking design, which was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, of course. He was let go.
He was fired, and they came back and Stan Winston actually.
Kevin Peter Hall,
redesigned the Predator suit. In Predators, there is the Predator that is the original design with Van Damme. He's in the movie. You see him.
Okay, well that's cool. I'll look at a picture.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture, man. I gave it a 7 on 10. Predators. I would give Prey. My first instinct after watching Prey was also a 7 on 10, but I feel with that one, it's pretty much how you feel about Predators. Is the more I talk about Prey, the more it gets on my nerves. The more I'm finding things
4,
that I don't
5,
like.
3, 2. What are you gonna give it?
Oh no, it wouldn't go lower than 6 for Prey. Right now, as it stands, Prey's a 7. Predators Ness is a 7. Predator 2 is probably an 8 or a 9. Predator 1 is definitely a 10. Forget about it. The Predator, that's a rough one. Probably a 5, I guess, or 6. I'm a lover, not a hater. Like I don't like shitting on movies, and I always try to look for
You're a filmmaker.
the best things.
You understand. Yeah, you understand the process. I get it, which is good. A lot of people out there talking shit.
It had some good shit. It had funny dialogue. Your face, dude. Funny dialogue.
You're right. It was very funny. It was a great comedy. I'm glad he made a comedy. Fantastic.
Funny dialogue. Thomas Jane was funny. There was a lot of funny quips. There's some good action. I mean, the scene when now we're fucking segueing into the Predator, but
let me guess. In the medical bay, that's in.
Yeah, where he escapes that shit. That's a pretty good fucking scene. Like I said, the first hour, so first one act and half of second act, they kind of had me, but then they kind of lost me.
Well, I've looked into his original ending, and I think it would have been worse. And I think the ending we had is terrible.
Menagerie, right? Yeah.
Well, they like the Predators like team up with the USA and get on tanks and fight. I'm like, no.
Oh, I didn't read that fucking one.
You don't know those pictures, the Predators on tanks with Americans, and it's like, no. Because why Predator 2 works, like you said earlier, there's that scene where Danny Glover's like hanging his car. It's all practical. It's like, oh, I can't give that up. But Predator 2 gave Predator probably all the cool toys, and yet it never felt unnecessary or undeserved. You know, he had the little cool like katana thing that.
Dude, thank you for saying katana, because you're reminding me of one of my favorite scenes, probably for the wrong reasons, but what was his name? King Willie?
Of course, yeah, my favorite quote. I have it written down.
Mr. Policeman, Babylon, you come to me. Go ahead, read the quotes, man.
Yeah. Whenever he like takes Danny Glover takes
asking for answers.
Yeah, Danny Glover goes to see him in the alley, and he gets out of the car, and it's just like billowing smoke because they're like smoking a lot of weed.
Yeah, they were all smoking weed.
King Willie says something. I wrote it down because it's something I've always loved. He goes,
"You can't see the eyes of the demon until him come calling."
And I was like, I love that. And then
Dude, you sound Irish for some reason.
And then the Predator like cuts off his head and is like walking with it. It's like screaming. And like they're so over the top. Everything about this would just be so toned down. You would have El Scorpio.
Somebody would get offended.
Snorting the cocaine with his fucking even Harrigan has like, I want to say like a 50 caliber gun. He has a giant gun. He has like the laser sight, that schlocky laser sight.
It's the old days where your gun is your dick.
Yes.
So, you know, if you're an action hero, gotta have a big gun because you got a big dick and you're a big man. Which
is funny because, you know, if we talk about being realistic, like a Desert Eagle is a terrible gun to have. It's not like you get a more accurate gun anywhere else. Like I have a more accurate gun back here, you know, but it looks cool. The beauty of the 80s and early 90s, which is it's not about what's practical. It's about what looks
cool.
And the
Predator that yellow fucking shirt didn't look cool.
I like the yellow shirt because it reminds me of like LA. I always think of LA, you know, all sweaty and hot. Everybody's beating sweat and they're always annoyed that it's hot. I'm like, yeah. I live near a better ocean. It's your fault. You know?
So before I kiss Predator 2's ass further, I just want to say one of my biggest disappointment of that movie, the subway scene.
Oh my God.
You pink shirt wearing motherfucker, hear me out.
Might be orange.
Nice snips too going on. But dude, man, it's the Predator fucking people up on a subway, a moving subway car. It's a very cool concept. Unfortunately, the way it was communicated is strobe lights, quick cuts, and I don't see a fucking thing.
Okay.
And that for me was always the most frustrating part of that film is that scene. Because, you know, they get on the subway, the Predator's fucking on top. You know what's going to happen. You're like, fuck yeah, man. This shit's going to go fucking nuts. And then, bam, 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 bam. I don't see a fucking thing. I can't decipher what's happening. And it's a waste of a great idea. Mr. Hopkins, Stephen Hopkins, I love you. I love the entire film. But that scene never played well it didn't play well for me the first time I saw it in the cinemas. And I saw it 4 or 5 days ago. Same fucking feeling. I'm like, this could have been such a great scene and they missed the mark.
It's like, you're right. It's a strobe light. You can't see much. I mean, I always thought it was intense as a kid, and maybe that's transferred over. But like, you're being very practical, and I can't fight this. You don't see anything. You're absolutely right. It should be a bloodbath. It's not. I think it's one of those that the idea maybe does so well that I'm able to overlook it personally. But I also can't fight you. But who knows? Maybe that was the MPAA. Maybe that was Fox at the time.
That looked like a rush shoot to me, but.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, maybe in the script it didn't say strobe lights and quick cuts because you're right. It's a quicker scene. So fair enough. It does and looks into her belly, right? Isn't that what?
Yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah, which I always thought was kind of creepy. Yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah. Again, showing that the Predator has a code. The Predator has more values than today's humans. But that's another conversation.
Intergalactic travel, better. You know, I trust that more than us. I will say that I think something that hopefully we can agree on, mentioning this scene, even if it is underwhelming, there is a lot of scenes in this movie that like are more horror tilted actually. The kid in the candy, like the way that's framed and repeated, it's creepy. Even the scene in the cold warehouse, like there is like a lot of horror imagery, and not that the first one wasn't, but maybe just because this isn't a city, maybe I'm seeing it more as opposed to like the jungles of
Wherever,
Guatemala.
wherever the fuck. They doubled down on everything, man. By
Sure.
making it urban, it's a setting that anybody that's lived in the city can relate to. You've lived in the city, I've lived in the city, so we can relate that. But not all of us have been in the fucking jungle, so the setting is more familiar to all of us. And they doubled down. More violence, more kills, more action.
Well, and in the future, which I think gives them a lot of leeway to do stuff that may not be as grounded. Like they could be ridiculous and say like, hey, it's 1997, there's a heat wave and there's gangs, because I remember the first time I ever saw it, it had to be 91 or whatever came out VHS. That's when I first saw it. I remember being like 97. I remember that thought and it never left me, thinking like, oh man, it's going to be real hot 97, So everybody's like patting their brows.
I think, the film, people were hard on it when it came out.
Of course. Well, you can't,
over time, it's, gotten more respect, more fans. People are seeing it for what it is. Yeah, no, it's, and you know what? The makers of Prey, and Prey was, I think, the highest fucking viewed movie on Hulu, because it's a Hulu original. So you could expect the Prey 2. They should watch Predator 2 to correct the mistakes they made in Prey. For a Predator movie to fucking fully work, in Prey, yes, I found the heroine, the lead chick, affable, likable, blah blah, other than the fact that she had one facial expression, but I'll put that aside. The Predator universe is not about one person, it's an ensemble. You need to have an ensemble that's appealing. The first Predator had it. Schwarzenegger was the star, but everybody around him was appealing. Predator 2, Glover was the star, but he had people around him that were appealing. Prey, I don't know her fucking name, so the chick was the star.
Mid-Thunder and Ember Mid-Thunder.
But she had the brother,
which was the only other good character because he had,
and everybody else
some depth.
Was a waste. So take notes, guys. Prey 2, get a good ensemble going, man. So yes, in my useless opinion, obviously the Predator franchise benefits from a strong ensemble. Prey did not.
Oh, there should be a sequel, so we'll see, man. We'll see.
Oh, there'll be a sequel, man. That shit fucking hit the bank. And yet, I can't remember one scene from it. Fascinating.
Well, I guess that brings us to the end, right? Hopefully people don't hate Predator 2, but if you do, obviously fight us in the comments. If not, help us out, like, subscribe. Maybe send me a little money. Certain OnlyFans, a little extra cash.
Guys, so in closing, let us know what you think. Do you appreciate Predator 2 as much as we do? Do you think it's shit? You think Prey is the crown jewel of the franchise, like the mainstream media tells you it is? Comment away, let us know. And personally, I know usually we end the show with our theme song, if you will. It's usually the theme song from Cheers, but anyways. But today, let's just end it off with a couple licks from the Predator score, which should have been in Prey. Dun, 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 dun.